Russia launched 729 combined missiles and drones over Ukraine, killing at least 11 people and leaving dozens injured.
US President Donald Trump said no Israeli troops will be going to Beirut and that all shooting will stop after talking to Benjamin Netanyahu and Hezbollah.
Colombia's ruling party's candidate, Ivan Cepeda, says his team has found no evidence of irregularities in Sunday's first round of votes, backtracking on his earlier claim of fraud.
Harrowing scenes have emerged from what has become in Ukraine just another night. At least 11 people have been killed and 58 have been injured as Russia launched a massive overnight attack of 729 combined missiles and drones, according to Ukrainian officials. Meanwhile, more people are still trapped under the rubble, and on Tuesday morning the attack was ongoing, authorities said. In the capital of Kyiv, attacks claimed the lives of at least 4 people, while local media reported residents rushing to spend the night in shelters, clutching on to some of their belongings. In the city of Kharkiv, 8 people were wounded, according to regional governor Oleg Sinegubov. A Russian attack on the city of Dnipro and its surroundings left at least 6 people dead, including a 73-year-old woman, and 36 people injured, according to local governor Alexander Ganza. The main targets of the attack also included Zaporizhzhia, Poltava and many other regions. Ukraine's armed forces reported 73 air, sea and ground-launched missiles and counted 656 Russian drones. However, they downed 40 of the missiles and 642 of the drones. The latest attack comes days after Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky warned that Russia was preparing a massive new strike on the country.
In a fast-moving chain of events on Monday, US President Donald Trump said no Israeli troops will be going to Beirut, and any troops on their way have already been turned back after he talked to Benjamin Netanyahu and Hezbollah. In a post on Truth Social, Trump claimed he had a very good call with Hezbollah and they agreed all shooting will stop so that Israel will not attack them and they will not attack Israel. Trump further stated in a separate post on his platform that negotiations with Tehran have continued at a rapid pace. These messages came shortly after Iran's IRGC-linked Tasnim news agency reported that Tehran decided to stop exchanging messages with the US on a peace deal following Israel's widespread offensive in Lebanon. The report also announced Iran's resolve to completely block the Strait of Hormuz and to expand its fighting fronts. However, Trump downplayed Iran's statement by telling US media that Tehran had not informed Washington of the move, claiming oil prices would drop like a rock in the very near future as he was addressing the sudden market spike. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign ministry released a statement blaming Washington for not restraining Israel from its Lebanese offensive and stating that the country is acting on the basis of its inherent right to self-defense. Additionally, 2 Iranian generals were quoted as saying that Tehran is prepared to undertake what they called defensive operations through game-changing measures regarding the Strait of Hormuz.
Colombia's ruling party candidate Ivan Cepeda says his campaign has found no evidence of irregularities that would call into question the results of the first round of the country's presidential election held on Sunday. His comments reflect a sharp turn from earlier claims without evidence that hundreds of thousands of votes were manipulated. Cepeda conceded victory to his rival, the conservative Abelardo de la Espriella.
Que el pueblo colombiano ya no quiere más gobierno de izquierda, que ha sido un total fracaso. Es el espaldarazo que se le dio ayer a Abelardo de la Espriella, que es una fórmula diferente, un outsider, que no representa ningún partido político tradicional.
Colombia tiene que girar hacia una políticas más duras, más de control, más extremas en lo que viene pasando absurdo en este país durante 4 años.
According to official data from the Electoral Registry, the right-wing candidate De La Espriella won 44% of the votes, while Cepeda garnered around 41%. With no candidates taking an outright majority, the election will head to a second round later this month.
preocupación, tristeza, decepción. Son muchísimas cosas juntas. Entonces creo que, no sé, esperar un mejor resultado en la segunda vuelta.
Yo espero que Cepeda en estos días muestre también de que es hombre contundente, que va a atacar la criminalidad. Tiene lógicamente programas sociales que lógicamente es seguro que Asprilla los va a acabar. Los va a acabar. Qué tristeza, qué tristeza.
Voter turnout exceeded 57%, the highest recorded in a first-round election in Colombia since 1991.
Former NATO Deputy Secretary General Mircea Joana has warned that the military alliance needed stronger low-altitude military capabilities to shoot down drones. His comments, said on Euronews program Europe Today, come after a drone crashed in the Romanian city of Galați, a port city near the border of Ukraine, last week.
I think we have to do a much better effort to try to find the right kind of air and missile defense for NATO in general. So if for mid-altitude and high altitude, let's say there are some things in place, Patriot missiles, the F-16s, the F-35s, NATO operations, for these basically low-altitude things, we are still lacking the kind of adequate means. They do exist on the market. You can acquire them. The only thing is that you have to put your right priorities in the right place.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has rejected blame for the drone crash, but the incident has further underlined the need for NATO to better equip itself against the form of modern warfare. Joanna said that NATO should keep up with the innovation cycle with much faster cycle of procurement and adaptation for this new world plan.
The first air taxi test flight in Central Asia has taken place in Kazakhstan. The V2000 Prosperity model lifted off from Alatau city in the Almaty region before a crowd of spectators. The project is being developed by Kazakhstan's Alatau Advanced Air Group in partnership with Chinese manufacturer Autoflight. Designed to carry up to 5 passengers and 1 operator, the aircraft completed a 10-minute test flight without passengers on board. The flight was monitored from the ground under safety regulations. The fully electric aircraft can reach speeds of up to 200 kilometers per hour and is powered by 13 electric motors. A full battery recharge takes about 1 hour.
The maximum range is 250 kilometers for the single charge, and the maximum sort of takeoff weight is about 2.4 ton, 2,400 kilograms. And then because it's a pure electrical, so it can fly from point A to point B and becoming like, for the education of aerial sightseeing, aerial tourism, like carrying passengers from, the foothill to the top of the mountain.
Kazakhstan is joining the pioneers of urban air mobility as electric aircraft are tested for future passenger transport. As part of that effort, Alatau Advanced Air Group has signed a contract to acquire 50 additional aircraft and is building the country's first vertiport in Alatau city, a dedicated hub for air taxis. The company plans to expand the network with additional vertiports across Alatau city and Almaty. First commercial trial flights are expected to launch in late 2028 or early 2029, pending the completion of infrastructure and regulatory approvals.
Когда наши партнеры смогут в своих странах сертифицировать свои летательные аппараты, получить все необходимые разрешения на полеты, они смогут предоставить эту документацию нашей компании, чтобы мы передали нашим казахстанским авиационным властям. Только тогда мы сможем приступить к коммерческому использованию этого нового вида транспорта.
The monastery of St. Neophytos in Paphos, known as the Englistra, was founded by the Cypriot hermit and writer St. Neophytos in the second half of the 12th century. Throughout its history, it has attracted large numbers of visitors. Recently, however, many people have come to the monastery to encounter the saint, who has been digitally brought back to life using new technologies.
Έχουμε μια ρεαλιστική αναπαράσταση του Αγίου εντός της Εγκλίστρας. Πήραμε λοιπόν αυτόν το πορτρέτο και δημιουργήσαμε το avatar του Αγίου και ο Άγιος ο ίδιος ξεναγεί τον επισκέπτη μέσα στον χώρο που δημιούργησε, το χώρο που έδρασε, το χώρο που που έγραψε τα συγγράμματα του και που τελικά τάφηκε.
The project was developed through a collaboration between the Digital Heritage Research Lab of the Cyprus University of Technology and MIRA Lab at the University of Geneva. One of the project's greatest challenges was gaining acceptance for the concept and securing the cooperation of the monastic community.
Οι ιερείς δεν είχαν καμία ιδέα όσον αφορά την τελευταία λέξη της τεχνολογίας. Ήταν πάρα πολύ προσεκτικοί, σαν χριστιανοί Ορθόδοξοι και προκατελημένοι. Δεν ήθελαν να πάρουμε εμείς κάτι και το οποίο μετά η τεχνική νοημοσύνη να το μεταλλάξει και να μπορεί να το παρουσιάζει σε πολύ πιο διαφορετικό τρόπο.
This initiative forms part of the Eureka 3DXR funded by the Digital Europe program, which develops innovative tools.
The scope of Eureka 3DXR has been to demonstrate how the 3D digitization can work for the cultural heritage sector. This means to access data, to make them more interesting for students, researchers and citizens.
Πριν από λίγα χρόνια ο συνδυασμός θα προκαλούσε έκπληξη, ίσως και αντιδράσεις. Όμως πλέον στις μέρες μας η τεχνολογία μπορεί να κάνει θαύματα και γιατί όχι να γνωρίσει, να συστήσει αγίους και ιστορίες της Εκκλησίας σε ένα ευρύτερο και νεότερο κοινό. Από την Πάφο για το Euronews, Απόστολος Τάικος.